So we will be here because it's all.
Got a job, maybe the bigger boat.
All right, we have more chairs. We will get this meeting started. Today is Thursday, June sixth, 2024. At 7:01 PM, we will call this meeting of the Bristol Town Council to order. And we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Dustin, you have to lead us tonight.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start off with roll call. Start to my left. Doug Smith. Here. Dean Renfro.
Here.
Kathy Burke.
Here.
Greg Tuholsky.
Here.
Jeff Beachy is here. To my left, Lieutenant Dustin Lundgren. Legal counsel Alex Bowman. Here. Assistant Town Manager, Deputy Clerk Treasurer Jill Swartz.
Present.
Town Manager Mike Yoder. Here. And Fire Chief Nick Cantz.
Good evening.
Evening, Nick. Okay, approval of the agenda. Everybody had a chance to review the agenda?
Yes. Yes.
Any additions or corrections to the
There
agenda?
have been since, if you could scroll down a little bit, let's see what version you have. Under, see if Alex has one added.
He's only got one.
Okay, so there is, the one that's posted has an item added under town attorney. And do
Okay.
you have one that's well?
It's not.
Okay,
Let me go there.
it's okay, it's just one item, so.
That's okay, we'll get it. There it is.
Wide load.
Hmm?
Wide load on it.
Wide loop.
Most recent. And there we go. Okay. Close this one out. Okay. The updated agenda, any other additions, corrections, or changes? Okay, the agenda will stand as noted. I'm gonna take a moment here, just for the agenda, before we go into the invoices. There's a lot of people here tonight. I just want to let everybody know, we do have a section for public comment. And it is on section number 11. So anybody who would like to make public comment, it's also known as a privilege of the floor. I know there's a lot of people here tonight that would like to make comment. So when we get to this section, if you have a comment to make, that's when you'll be allowed to make comment. Between now and then, we're conducting our regular business. So public comment's not allowed at that time until then. So if you want to make public comment, we will do so at section number 11. And the process for that is we need you to step up to the microphone at the podium, state your name and your address clearly so we can hear you. And then you'll have 3 minutes to make any comments or ask any questions you may have. Sound good? Okay. So we'll get back to the agenda. Item number 5, approval of the invoices. Everybody had a chance to look at the bills?
Yes.
Okay, any questions?
I make a motion, we approve the invoices.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Doug. Open for discussion. No further discussion. We'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Tuholsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries. Next item, approval of the minutes. We have meeting minutes from May 16th, May 21st, and May 24th. Those are sent out earlier today, I believe. Everybody had a chance to review those?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve previous month's minutes.
Okay,
I'll second it.
motion by Greg, second by Dean. Open for discussion. No further discussion. We'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Tuholsky,
Yes,
and Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries. All right. Next item on the agenda, reports. Mike, what do you have for us tonight?
Okay, first up is a request from NIPSCO, the drawing included in the packet. Here's an example of the easement document we'll be presented with at some time. Tonight, I'm just asking if you will have any opposition to a small portion of an easement that's actually across our community garden. You can see in the picture there at the bottom, there'll be no poles. It's just wires. They need the easement to ensure that nobody constructs a building in that spot, which is unlikely. So I said, I don't think this is in conjunction with the new substation they're building, so there'll be some new power lines through that.
Okay.
That area. I assume there's no problem with that. I assume these gonna be kind of somewhere in the neighborhood of $300, $400. And so if there's no concerns, we'll move forward and get that wrapped up and have it ready for you at the next meeting or July anyways. Any concerns? No need to move the garden.
Let's say that's just overhead lines.
Yes.
Any concerns, council?
What is that, about 20 feet, Mike? Is that what I'm reading?
And maybe if you go up to the drawing.
Yeah, it looks like 20,
Probably
20.14
is.
feet. Yeah,
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 at least at St. Joe Street. and it
20
was
there,
wider.
I think it's
40, almost 50.
almost 50 at the end.
Yeah, at the railroad, it's almost 50.
We need more power, so that's part of it.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Next up, we have a CF1 for Great Lakes laminating, and as you can see, they've met their commitments and request a motion to approve that they are substantially compliant. Their abatement. So they had estimated their investment to be around 4.5 million. They actually invested 9 million. And estimated payroll was 1.5 million. Their actual payroll is almost 4 million. So it's 4-year abatement signed in 2019. So this is what's the last year on that?
This is the last.
So this was their estimated salary. This was the actual.
Correct.
And then the property value. The real estate was 4.5, the actual was 9.1.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna take a second here because we've got a pretty good crowd here. And I guess it's a good time for a commercial. So we hear a lot of questions about why don't businesses pay taxes? Why do they get tax abatements? Okay, so a tax abatement is an incentive to bring a business to our town. Okay, businesses come to us, they say, we'd like to locate in your town. And we'd like to see if you will give us a benefit. And the benefit is tax abatement. Now, in the case of Great Lakes Lamination, they're already in town. They already have a business established. They added onto their property and they came to the town council and asked for an abatement. We work with the Economic Development Corporation of Elkhart County. And they give us a score to say, if they spend this much money, this is what we would recommend for a tax abatement. Now, a tax abatement doesn't mean that they never pay taxes. A tax abatement is a process that in year one, they may pay 20% of their tax bill. Year two, they pay 40% of their tax bill. Year three, they pay 80% of their tax bill if it's a 3-year abatement. And then year four, they pay 100% of their tax bill. So they get a reduced rate for 3 years or whatever the term is that we agree to. And here's a good example of a business that came to us and said, hey, we're going to bring new jobs to this town. And we are projecting that we're going to pay these people that we're bringing to town $1.56 million. This number right here. Okay, I'm going to blow this up a little bit more. They said, we're going to pay these people $1.56 million. In reality, they paid them $3.9 million. So they're paying their people a very good wage. They also said, we project that we're going to spend $4.5 million on manufacturing equipment. In reality, they spent 9.1 million. So they doubled what they said they would spend. So the investment that these companies are making in our town are huge. So that's just to give you an idea, when people ask for a tax abatement, it's an incentive to bring them in town. And what that does is it takes our tax base, it takes our assessed value up, which means that we get a higher tax rate from the DLGF, which is Department of Local Government Finance. DLGF is the organization for the state that gives us the money that we use to run this town. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what a tax abatement is. A tax abatement doesn't mean that businesses do not pay taxes. They pay taxes just like we do. If they don't have a tax abatement, they pay 100% of their tax abatement, or they pay 100% of their taxes. So I just thought I'd take a moment and explain a little bit of that. With that said, is there a motion to approve the CF1 form for Great Lakes lamination?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Doug,
Second.
second by Dean, open for discussion. No further discussion, we'll take a vote. Dr. Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries.
Can I add one thing to that, what you just said?
Yeah.
Tax abatements most of the time do not from companies that are already established here. Usually it's vacant land where they're building new. And the tax base on vacant land is a lot less than it is when there's a factory there. And eventually that brings in additional tax revenue. So
Thank you, Kathy, good point.
And doesn't the payroll different too? Doesn't that come through a different, don't we get different money for the payroll?
Yeah, we have to share it with everybody. It's through additional income taxes, so it helps out with our public safety lit monies.
I was gonna say, there's something that,
Yeah, the extra income tax is also used to lower property taxes as well. So yes, the extra income is very helpful.
Okay, what do you have for us next, Mike?
Next, just a note that Satellite Industries submitted a CF1, but they forgot that their abatement is lower.
Okay.
Okay.
yeah.
Kathy sent you a couple things to update you on then. The activity on the farmland to the south and west of town, which is the Brown Farm and other areas in it, or other farms in that area. The activity has picked up significantly in the last couple of weeks. I would guess that within 3 weeks, we should have an announcement out that there's 2, maybe 3 active projects. Somebody's going to get the land, so we're not sure what it is yet. I'm under NDA, so I can't tell you what the companies are. If we land any of them, I think we'll all be very, very pleased with what that is. It's a huge investment, be great for the town. So we're learning, I think we talked about the lack of electric power in town here and how that has hindered some of our development. Monday, Chris Stager at the EDC and I are meeting with both AEP and NIPSCO. Suddenly there seems to be power. So I'm trying to figure out what exactly is going on. And we just heard 2 big announcements for 2 data centers in one in LaPorte and one in South Bend, which we were told we couldn't power any more data centers in northern Indiana yet. 2 more should come. So we're trying to get to the bottom of what exactly is going on with the utilities, and should have more to report at the next meeting. I understand the annexation, the voluntary annexation of Abby Thomas's farm ground is ready to file, so we should be dealing with that by the next meeting. We do not have a meeting on July 4th. So I don't want to call a special meeting, but there's a lot of things happening on that property quickly. We may need a special meeting to help move that process along, as well as a developer agreement. The developer will be paying the cost of the street and water and sewer infrastructure. But Alex and I will be working, mostly Alex will be working, or Scott maybe will be working on interlocal agreement or a development agreement with the town to recoup those costs. So I'm not sure how fast they need to move, but July might be pretty busy for that project. We were approached for off-road vehicle ordinance. I have one drafted. I sent that to you for review. So before I incur legal expenses, I want to make sure you're ready to move forward with that. I sent it in a separate email. If you didn't get a chance to look at it, let me know. Generally, I copied the county, so we'll be the same as the county. Do you want to move forward? The group that proposed has reviewed it. They're happy with it. I don't know if the attorneys. are
I
happy
looked
with
at it and, I mean, it looks pretty straightforward. Anybody else take a look at it?
Let's see it.
Okay,
Okay.
good to go?
Anybody
Send
opposed to it?
My personal one,
What's
I
that?
think so.
you send my personal email, council email,
Counseling?
Yes. I'll send it to you again.
okay.
It's a work.
Probably had phone about that.
Okay,
Excellent.
all right, Alex and crew will get it. I'll give that to them. The July work session, the county has finished their redesign of the county zoning ordinance. They'd like to come and present that to us. This is the one that creates a section for the town. So Bristol has our own section in there. I was disappointed to see that there are no new standards for the town. I thought we had submitted those. They claim that none of the towns submitted any new standards, which is strange because I sat down with well, you were there too, so we'll figure that out, but nonetheless, we will have our own page, which allows us to put in our own standards, which solves some of the problems we've had.
Yeah.
So that'll be the July work session. And I think that is, yeah, any questions?
Anything for Mike?
No.
Nothing.
Okay, well, if not, thank you, Mike. Jill, what do you have for us tonight?
The only thing I have tonight is the firework contract for the homecoming. Last meeting, we had made a motion to take the $1,000 credit and apply it to the balance, which leaves us at 15,000. So we want to continue with that. The homecoming will pay a portion of that. The town will pay the remaining. If the council wants to approve it, we can have Jeff sign the contract this evening.
Do we have fireworks?
Kathy, am I correct? The homecoming $1,000 of that?
$1,000 from the homecoming committee goes toward the fireworks. Yeah.
So the town would be responsible for
The town has
14.
always budgeted for that as a summer event.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the fireworks contract?
I'll make the motion to approve the fireworks contract.
Okay, motion by Doug. Is there a second? Not, I will second it. Open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Okay, before, question, are we okay and everything all the way through 2028?
Huh?
That what attachment A is? So
What?
contract prices through 28.
Page 2 is just the reflects the future dates. It's not locking the contract. This contract that you'd be approving tonight is just for this year and the rain dates. It's just
Yearly contract.
showing,
That's all I wanted, I've
Projection.
seen all those, and I'm like, okay,
yeah, nope. It's just letting you know the display dates, the contract amount, but it's just approving this year's event.
yes,
okay, Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolphy,
Yes.
and Jeff Beatties, yes, motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you,
Okay.
council.
Anybody have anything for Jill?
No.
Not. Move on to Alex.
Thank you, Jeff. What I have before you this evening is what's entitled Ordinance 2024-14. This is an ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Bristol, Indiana, declaring portions of Ponderosa Drive and Bloomingdale Drive in the Town of Bristol to be wide load routes. At a prior council meeting, there was a discussion about some of the enforcement activity along the Bloomingdale Drive and Ponderosa Drive route for heavy wide loads that are coming off of 120, coming off of 115, or about 15. And instead of creating congestion at the intersection here, we're using that as an alternative route, either for ease, safety, et cetera. And that tickets were being issued for violating wide load permits issued by the Department of Transportation. So at the request of town manager, we've put together what I believe will be an ordinance that should encourage NDOT to recognize that alternative path as a route for permitted wide loads. Again, that's a process that occurs at the Department of Transportation level. The town retains some authority over the highways, the roads, the streets that are within the town's jurisdiction and are not part of the highway system. This is not part of the state's highway system. These are town roads. This does not create a penalty. It's essentially, it's a declaration that the statute requires that the town make in hopes that it provides an alternate route that won't incur some of those enforcement costs, some of those enforcement activities along that route. So as you read through the recitals, that cites the statutory law that we relied upon in drafting the ordinance. It declares that route to be an alternate wide load route and requires that signs be posted so that drivers operating with these permits are able to ascertain that that's an alternate route. I cannot guarantee you that this will stop all enforcement activity. I anticipate that this could be a continuing discussion between the town and the Department of Transportation regarding this route, but I think this is an important first step in order for the town to have continued discussions with NDOT on the matter. So with that, because the ordinance does not impose a penalty, it's essentially a declaration. If the council is inclined, the council can suspend the rules and adopt on first reading. And I'm happy to walk the council through that process if that's a decision that's made. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Thoughts, questions?
I'd like to pass on first reading.
Yeah, I would do.
The sooner we
Yeah.
get it done, the better it's gonna be.
But basically, it's an alternate, right? It's
Yeah.
not mandatory.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah, the town, by the statute, the town has no authority to change the route from what's currently on the state highway system. That's within the state's purview.
Yeah.
So this town inviting the state to recognize an alternate route.
So is there a procedurally motion to suspend the rules?
Yeah, we call it a motion to suspend the rules and adopt this ordinance on first reading.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules and adopt on first reading ordinance number 606/2024-14.
Okay.
Second that motion?
Okay, motion by Kathy, second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro.
Yeah.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beechey, yes.
Thank you, Council. Procedurally then, the ordinance is ready for adoption on first reading, so the motion would be to adopt ordinance 6624-14 on first reading.
Is there a motion to adopt ordinance number 6-6-2024-14 on first reading?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Greg, open for discussion. No further discussion, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Dean Renfro,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beechey, yes. Motion carried.
Thank you, Council. That's all I have for you this evening.
Anybody have anything for Alex tonight?
Nope.
Under new business, we have the chicken ordinance variance that's currently in process.
Yes, this is a list that the clerk treasurer inserts to remind me that I still have things to do.
Okay,
There's no actions on those tonight.
All right,
I appreciate the reminder as well.
yes. So then additionally would be the sign design meeting, we're gonna put that on the back burner. Food truck plans, and I know Jill's actively working on that, so hopefully we'll have food trucks this summer. Okay. Next item on the agenda is privilege of the floor. And as I stated earlier, this is the time where you, the public, have your time to speak to us, voice any concern you may have. Please keep in mind that we do give a 3-minute timeline. So if you want to make a comment, I would ask that you step up to the microphone at the podium, state your name and your address, and ask any questions, make any comments that you may wish.
Hi, I'm Cindy Kimes. I live at 200 Twin River Trail, just north of town.
Okay.
There's.
Oh.
I have spoken.
Way to go, Cindy.
I told you. Anyway, 2 concerns. State Road 15, I know that that's highway, but we're having a very hard time seeing I asked my husband to go out and mow it, and he said, that's state highway, I'm not touching that one. We can't see unless you get out of the car and look. Well, I don't know if any of you have gone down State Road 15 lately, but you can't tell when cars are coming or not because they're fast and a lot.
Is there a specific area?
Twin River Trail.
Oh, okay.
It's
Right.
entrance,
Is it-
yeah,
oh,
something.
Grass or trees? Grass or trees?
Yes.
Grass.
Is that where the old sign used to be?
No, it's right there on each side of Twin River Trail.
Where the old Twin River Trail sign used to be, the brick sign?
No,
Oh, that's.
No,
very
no,
tiny.
that's way up high. This is down low. Right? I mean, you almost have to be out in the middle of the intersection before you can get out. The second thing is that we have blacktopped, not since the sewer's been in. They have patched it numerous times. I see this road over here by the railroad tracks is being blacktopped, and I don't know if that's ever used. I don't get out that way. I'd like to see our road redone if that's possible.
you talking Depot Street,
No, you're
Twin
Twin River.
River.
No, north of the,
you said the railroad track.
yeah, that's
Now,
one,
we're
that's what
about
we're
railroad
repaving
tracks.
now.
north of the railroad tracks, right off of 15, that's all
That's
been,
Depot.
6-foot blacktop putting in. Well,
6 foot.
fix it. I'm-
I didn't approve 6 feet of blacktop.
No.
Depth anyways.
Okay,
I
but
think it's
anyway,
Depot.
I would like to see our road redone because, and I would also like to see a line down the middle because we have people that come down there very fast. I can't sit out there all the time and scream at them. I get a little. throat
Oh,
sore.
yeah.
You sound like me right now.
Yeah, exactly. And there's been numerous times that I have called the town and voiced my opinion on the gentleman that lives on the corner. He is a landscaper. My husband's 82 years old. Our yard, I know he has a lot of time, but our yard looks immaculate. I mean, we should be in the golden house, golden garden, whatever. This guy has put in gravel. He put in all his leftover plastic from his jobs into our trash cycling. I mean, why doesn't the factories out here take them and bring them to my house and that way they don't have to pay for trash? That's my opinion. I mean, everybody else in the neighborhood's doing a very nice job, except for this guy. He mowed it today and my hayfield looks better after being mowed in this guy's yard. I've asked at least 4 times for somebody to come out and take a look at this. Poor Tim Weaver gets sick every time he drives by that house because it was a showpiece. I mean, that's the reason I bought him there, because of Weaver's land. I mean, it was a beautiful development. And then Abby Thomas has not mowed since she's owned that property. Why isn't she being mowed if everybody else has to mow? And I brought that up.
Have you talked to Randy about these companies?
Oh, yeah, he gives a kid a warning. Cause he pulls out so his mother can get out. He comes in at 4 o'clock in the morning, his mother comes out and goes to work at 7 o'clock. The kid parked on the grass, went in and went to bed. He's ready in the morning. I said, stop. I said, what are you doing? The kid just got home from work. He's working. And I said, and you're gonna write him a ticket for parking on the grass for 5 minutes? I said, this is ridiculous.
So
Wait a minute,
Cindy,
it's two
in
different things.
This all pertains to Twin River Trail.
respective time for everybody, because there's a lot of
Okay.
people, so we will, we'll have Mike look into repaving in Twitter River.
Well, it's already on Eric's list.
Okay.
I went over his list.
Okay.
That's one of them.
Okay,
It's
and we'll talk to Randy about the ordinance as well.
it's
so-
beyond killing.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
My name is Jessica Mock. I live at, 1008. My name is Jessica Mock. I live at 1008 Swan Street here in Bristol. And I came to ask you about the water project. I wanted to know if I could see a breakdown of what residents are paying for the project as opposed to what factories are paying. I wanted to know if we got any kind of grants to pay for this, if any were applied for. Those are my concerns.
Okay.
I mean, these were big increases that I know if I were coming to these meetings, I might have known about them. But I mean, I kind of put my trust in you that you'll disseminate the information to us of what might be coming up.
Yeah.
I had no idea that my water bill was gonna spike like that.
Yeah.
And so where some people can pay that, that's great. There are others that's gonna be a big struggle for them. And I'm worried about those families that, water is a basic human need and right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we've had a lot of questions, Jessica, so thank you for bringing it up to us. We do have a rate sheet, so I don't know if we,
I have the rate sheet, like I printed the ordinance to bring,
okay,
but I don't understand the 5/8 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/2 inch, 2 inch. I don't know what that means for them.
You don't know what exactly.
Right, but I don't, that doesn't compute to me at all. Like, I don't know how big the pipe is that goes into those buildings to try and figure out what that is, and what that means.
Yeah.
Can you help with that?
yeah, so I don't. Mike, Tim, do you wanna, can you talk, so Tim is our water superintendent,
When it's talking, those sizes, those are the actual size of the pipes that are going into the building. Except for the 5/8, the smallest is 3/4.
Okay, so when you're looking at the factories and what they're paying, is their base rate, like say they have the 3 inch, 524, is that their only water bill?
That's base rate.
That's the base.
That's the base rate they're
that's
paying
the least
for
they
every,
pay.
for every 1,000 gallons, that's what they're paying?
The base rate's 2,000 gallons.
Okay,
And then anything above that, then the flow rate starts to be calculated.
where's the flow rate?
The next page.
Like here, this.
It's only on the-
$46 per is that per 1,000 gallons after that?
Correct. And that's only on the sewer, not the water. The water is just the flow rate.
So can you guys break down how much of this project is being covered by the factories that are here? Because I don't know how anybody else feels about Bristol, but I grew up here and it was small and charming and cute. And I understand probably didn't bring in a lot of taxes, but now I'm starting to feel like I live in an industrial park. To pick up the Brown Farm, there's more industry coming, like it's all industry and no houses. So how is that breaking down for us? How are we benefiting from that?
So there is a lot of industrial growth here, and that is primarily because of where we are. We're on 2 main state roads. There's a railroad line, there's this Indiana Toll Road.
Right,
So-
right, no, I get all that, but like, how are they helping us to pay for projects? Because with that much industry in such a small town, I would think that we would have excess funds to pay for some of these projects.
So a good example of that, we just talked at we had the redevelopment commission meeting just before this.
Yeah, I was,
And we talked about the TIF funds
Mhm.
and the money that's generated in a TIF fund. A good example of that is the TIF, because of the businesses in these areas, they're paying for a fire protection right now. The businesses are paying 100% of the tax of the fire protection in this town. Residents aren't paying anything for the
Which
fire
was-
protection.
was it 700,000 per year? Or
Yes,
per
yes.
quarter?
No, that's, so our contract for this year, Nick, was 680,000. 685 for the town. Washington Township paid 570, and then York Township pays a very small portion. Yeah, so the industry that's coming to town in these areas, in the TIF areas, they are paying for a large portion of the fire protection. They're also helping fund a lot of the infrastructure that has to occur within the town.
So out of the residents versus the factories, what portion, can you tell me what portion they're paying of the new water project? Isn't it like 24 million?
You know, one way to look at this is there's
Is there
about
somewhere where we
700
can see
residents,
it?
700 residents, total bills, 700 total bills of residents.
Okay,
Before the new rate, actually, everybody was billed at the same level, industry and residents. So what the council did is they shifted that. So more of the burden now is paid by industry and less by residents. So of this whole $30+ million project between water and wastewater, I don't know, is it 70, 80, maybe even 90% of that whole project's paid by industry, not by the residents.
can you, is there somewhere where you can show us? Because like, you can
Yeah,
understand why
both.
we're all upset, we're all confused, we don't have any of this background to see where we're paying for this.
Yeah.
Is there somewhere that you have that posted so that we can look at that? Or
I
you give
can,
me
yeah,
a
we
sample?
can get that breakdown.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can get that from Baker Tilly.
Yeah, we will get a breakdown and we will publish it on our town website. So everybody can see that. So let's commit
There
to
was
doing
another
that.
question about grants, and we did apply for grants. We did apply for grants and we were turned down. And the reason we were turned down is because this town had one of the lowest water rates in the state of Indiana. So they said that we had too much capacity to raise rates. We didn't qualify for the grant.
Was it through the USDA Rural Development?
It's either that or SRF.
I was thinking SRF.
Yeah,
SRF.
that's a state revolving loan fund.
Was it, either of those, because you worked at? This one said that they were.
We applied for whatever grants we qualified for.
That's what they say that you'll do, but there's, if you want. It's not like just because there's.
Well, I understand that.
We applied every again.
We
That's right.
We did.
Yeah.
We applied for every grant
Is
that was
something
that
you
we
can
could.
post for us so that we can also read that for transparency?
Yeah.
purposes? Okay, great.
The rejection letter?
Well, we can, the minutes in Commonwealth, we could go back to those minutes.
Could you highlight that for us so that we can find that? I would really appreciate, it. So I can, I don't know which minutes, which ones to look through to try and find that and see what was discussed.
How would you like us to post these then? On our website?
Yeah, that would be great. So
Okay.
that, we can, at least so we can refer people to it, so everybody can see it. And my last thing is, I would like to know, not for myself, but for some of the families in town, are you guys going to have some kind of program that would help them with this increased cost? Because they weren't expecting it, they didn't know it was gonna come. If you've got families that are really in need, are you guys going to have something that helps them?
So we have the Washington Township trustee for those that need financial assistance, in the hub is another avenue for that. The town itself really can't do that besides maybe working with them and extend it, to avoid the shut off. But the financial aid would be the Washington Township trustee and the hub.
Can you send that out on the next water bill so that they have that information?
Yeah, and we've
Because
done
not
that
everybody
before.
goes online, not everybody's gonna find your website.
Yeah.
Could that go on the water bill?
Yeah, there was published report.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it. That's all.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
Jessica.
you.
Hi, I'm Destiny Schwartz. I live on 807 Illinois in Bristol. I am one of the families that she was talking about. I kind of cry up here. I'm a single mom and I work so hard for the things that I have. And this water bill took every little bit of money that we had. It is nearly about a quarter of my mortgage now. It nearly tripled from what it was last month. I am now paying about $250 in water alone, and I will pull that up and show you guys right now. It was about $78 last month. It is now $250 this month. I am 21 years old. I have a 4-year-old. I work so hard for the things that I have, and I'm angry that there was no notice put on our doors or anything of that sort, because I knew nothing of this. I would have worked harder for the money that I had this month if I would have known my water bill was going to be this much. So I feel like if this is ever going to happen again, let us know, because I had no notice of this whatsoever, and this is taking away from my child now. Thank you.
Sorry, Ruff, is it Destiny or Destiny? Destiny, could you call us tomorrow? Cause I wanna look at that. That doesn't sound right.
Absolutely.
I wanna see if there was an increase in your consumption, just to make sure that there's something not wrong and it continue to happen, but contact us when you see a high, that's more than what the rate is.
It is, as of right now, I actually have it pulled up. It says my water charges were 109.13. My wastewater charges were 121.77. Disconnect fee of 0, reconnect fee of 0, total $246.21.
What's your
Month.
address?
Same.
I'm getting ready to pull mine up, mine's the same.
Okay,
Same.
I'm sorry.
Same.
I
Ridiculous.
I can't hear Destiny.
I'm sorry.
Your address again?
807 Turtle Drive in Bristol, Indiana.
Can you call me tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
That's.
Sorry, I live at the same address.
Okay.
My question is just like, our water bill has over that's over 100% increase.
Yeah,
What's the factory's increase that they're paying?
and the increase was not 100%. That's why we need to sit down to look at the consumption. So the more water you use, like Mike was saying, cost of services, the higher you're gonna see your bill.
No,
So if there's a leak or something, that's gonna cause a higher bill. That's what we need to figure out, because it was not 100% increase.
okay, I understand that, but it's not just us, it's
It's-
quite
It's
it's gone up 100, that's.
We all live in the same
$200.
Like, all
To put in a breakdown, we split utilities 50/50. Last month I paid $84. I'm paying $409 this month.
how much?
what?
Or, I mean, that's with our electric too, but just from the water. Oh, we're able to put that, and I was paying about $40 for water.
So you the same house or different?
No,
house?
we're same house. Our utilities alone this month are $814. And that is almost my entire mortgage, and this
Oh my
almost
Lord.
$300
but that's what's-
water bill.
That's NIPSCO.
This is taken away from my.
Yeah, our water bill went up almost triple.
Yeah.
So this is also,
It's crazy.
I guess I'm just curious,
Crazy.
Definitely.
So the
what percentage are residents paying of this new water thing versus whoever, I'm not sure exactly who pays, industrial.
Yeah.
So
Whatever that means, what percentage are they paying? Because if our bills are all going up almost $200, and that's just us, I don't know about the neighborhoods, what are they?
Industry is going up a lot higher, percentage wise than residential.
This is
And we're gonna get that information, we'll get that published so everybody can see it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just got a quick comment. My name's Charles Mock. I live at 1008 Swan Street. First of all, no info regarding the increase on the water bill. Someone dropped the ball and it's an awfully big ball to drop. Awfully big ball. And as far as the abatements from manufacturing, that's all fine. and dandy. Manufacturing is not the community. This is the community, okay? We are hurting from this. Manufacturers are not. They can write it off. You understand that? That's the way it is. That's life. This is the community. What are you guys doing to bring in future members of our community besides just business? Thank you.
Well, it was Charles.
Yes.
So let me tell you, Charles, we've talked to probably a dozen contractors to bring residential growth into our town.
But every farmland's going for manufacturing.
Not every, we've talked with several farm owners about
Don't
using.
go for the manufacturing. You don't just sell it, drop of a hat.
Let me finish, let me finish. We have talked to several farm owners about residential property on their land, and they don't want to sell. Now, where there is property available, it's zoned for manufacturing.
I
we-
just look at the fact that, I just look at the fact that who spends the money in the town? It's not the company. When people drive through this town on the way to work, there's 3 places they stop. Gas station, bar.
So
I work in Bristol.
Thumbs out.
I work in Bristol. I worked at Hallmark and I worked closer to home. I mean, good thing I don't have to drive through this mess every morning anymore. Cause this, in the morning, it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's an absolute mess.
And that's one of the reasons we're trying to get the alternate route so we can get traffic off
It's been
of,
built for 3 years.
well, it was a start of it. We can't, there's a lot more to do.
I
It's not, we can't just build it overnight. It takes time and funds and state approval to do that. So we're in the process of doing that.
Just keep in the front of your thoughts that the community members are hurting. Manufacturing is not hurting. You looked at the graphs, you've seen how well they're doing. people that are sitting here aren't doing that. And it seems like none of you guys understand that. You wanna build a footbridge? What for? What for? There's already a perfectly good pedestrian pathway that can accommodate two lines of people going across that river. We don't need to spend more money in a footpath when people are struggling to pour a glass of water to drink.
Ma'am? No,
So
yes.
one question I have first of all is how many of you guys actually, are you guys all living in the city?
I actually live in your subdivision. I live in the block.
Yes.
So I've lived here my whole life. I lived in Millbury for a short time in high school, back to Bristol. My house was torn down by 1 East St. Joseph Street for that wonderful project. Granted, I don't see anything less congested here. I get it that it's a work in progress. So it's kind of like one of those things that, was it even worth it at this point? Maybe at the end it will be. Secondly, I live in Riverwatch as well. At one time, I believe it was county, city ended up getting it at this point where our water bills are. It'd be nice to almost go back to having our own sewers and things like that at the point that we're at. We are buying houses, doing all these things at whose expense? When we have a water project that's needed and due,
I'm sorry.
right? The house is up here. We have Lauren Howard's house that was, you can go to my case, find all the information for the river development. Those things like that, or maybe things that really don't need to happen when we have this big water project that's supposedly needed.
Yeah.
That has affected a lot of us in the community, raising our bills, doubling them. We're at a time that things are already high, everything's already high enough, and then boom, this, like, maybe a little bit more consideration about where money's actually spent this time. The farmland. You're under whatever NDA, great. I hope it's somebody that's local, American based, not China or anything like that, like doing things for the community or things for here to actually help. The other thing is where you go down County Road 8, right before you turn into Riverwatch, the first entrance. Remember the gentleman had the sign out there, you're gonna follow the river?
Yeah.
The guardrail has yet to been replaced there. There was the guardrail that was there. It was supposed to have been replaced. It has yet to be replaced.
They tore it out when they rebanked the river.
And that is that dangerous thing. I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was last year, that whole road was nothing but a sheet of ice. I nearly came out of there, not realizing it, and it was just a black ice, and yeah, it could have been a bad thing, so I think it's important to, put your focus there. But again, I'm with everybody here, the shock to the water bill. We wanna know why, you wanna know where all the other money's going, why we're working on other things that maybe could wait.
Can I make a comment?
And my taxes also, speaking of tax dollars, my taxes went up. And I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's
No,
did.
I know, but I'm saying, so like, when you talk about, you just wonder where all the money's going. Who gets the tax money? How much does the city get of our property taxes?
Can I make a comment about the farmland that you were talking about, bringing industry in? The town doesn't have a say in who buys that. It's the owner of the farmland that has the say. If they don't want to sell it for residential, that's up to them. That's not up to us. It's like all the property that is around. The town doesn't own that property. Factories don't buy it from the town. They buy it from whoever is the landowner. So we really don't have a say.
So the town doesn't have a say of like, nope, we're not gonna allow this business here.
It depends on what it's zoned as through the county. Now, we don't zone it or anything, but it is up to whoever owns that property, whoever they sell it to. That's
Yes.
not up to us.
And as far as once the property is sold to a developer, we do have some say, don't we, Mike, in
Use.
on use.
The use of it.
Zoning.
Yeah. So zoning requests come through the county and then they're funneled through the town and addressed at the council level here. So if there's a business that we don't feel is in the best interest of Bristol, we can say no.
And we have said no.
And we have said no in the past, yeah. Yeah, so we do say no to some businesses that we don't think would be appropriate for our town.
And then address the guardrail, please.
Yes, we'll look into that. I don't know, was there ever a guardrail there, Dean?
There was.
No.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
The guardrail there is the one that's been there for 40 years.
No, it was,
No.
they did that,
Excuse me, sir, they rebanked the river,
Yes.
they removed the guardrail, they never put it back.
yes,
That's,
they did,
I go out that entrance every day.
me
I
too.
know, and I've lived here my whole life, there's never been a guardrail there. The guardrail that goes up towards the old house, that's always been there. Because we always had to maintain that.
Right,
But once they redid
there
it,
should be a guardrail.
But
well,
there should
I
be-
agree with you, but there was never one there.
So we can look at putting a guardrail there.
Yeah. there was
We'll look
never
at the
one.
feasibility of that.
I'm gonna go back to that because I do believe actually when that project was being completed, there was a note stating that the guardrail would come later, that the guardrail would be put. So I will be going back and
Yeah,
looking to see
Yeah,
if I
there
can
was
find
never one there.
information.
That
There
I
was.
guarantee you. Yeah, you can claim once, there was never one.
Sure.
My name is Lester Otto. I live at 18686 County Road 23, outside of the city limits. I'm out there where Mrs. Brown has property, and the last I heard, behind my house was supposed to go residential. And the meeting tonight is giving me fears that it's gonna go manufacturing. And we've already got a situation out there with houses that are being shook apart by a manufacturing process that is so violent. I don't wanna call it an earthquake, but we get tremors out there. And it makes it very difficult for us to sell our properties, although some properties have been sold. But no one has jumped up and offered me enough money to buy my property. And I don't want any more manufacturing out in my area at all. We can get residential out there. I have a chance of breaking even. If we go with more manufacturing, I'm gonna go down the tubes. And these guys are hurting, I'm gonna be hurt real bad. If we do more manufacturing out there.
Anyone else?
So,
Yeah, Greg.
all right, Tim, how much capacity are we gaining with the new water projects? We're not gaining any capacity with new water projects, right? It's
We're
basically,
not gaining any capacity.
right, we're basically keeping the same capacity, aren't we?
Yes, but it's being designed if we need to expand. And our whole drive in having to do this, one, the plan is 24 years old. Typically, the water plant's around 20 years old, and we have a lot of things that are falling apart. And our loadings are driving a lot of this increase, not water plants.
Right, so it's not, I mean, industry isn't even what's hurting our current situation, it's we have old equipment that's failing. So even if the industry wasn't here, our water bill would probably be what, 300? Without the industry, we still had to cover the same water plant, regardless, our bills would be insane. The other side of it is, the reason it's hitting so hard, there are state statutes that we have to hit in order to pay for the water plant. So when we don't have $24 million to pay for this, we have to take out loans. So there was a whole rate study on what it costs to buy the state that we had to be in a compliance with to even get the loans. So that's part of it. Like, we didn't just decide we're gonna screw the residents the $100 water bill. Like, that's what it costs to pay for the plant and have enough money that the next time this happens, there isn't a doubling of the water bill.
And get grants.
But
Right.
it's more than double.
And it's the fact though that we're
There's
doing
gonna be
urban
more
development projects, buying houses when we could be doing something more purpose.
But that money can't go towards that.
No.
There are state laws where money can go.
Can I talk?
No, man.
Well, I mean, I've been
State-
standing
Please
here.
state your name and your address, please.
Dalton Jackson, 1202
God.
Walleye Lane. And I'll state this, that I know about the water project and the new water tower. And I already know about the whole town deal and everything that goes with it. And I don't think the town should be paying for that $50,000 check or the brand new fence that goes around Freedom Powder and the brand new blacktop that goes on Freedom Powder. And I don't know if somebody knows about this, but I know somebody does. Because I already know and I already talked to my boss about it, and that's a $50,000 check, or it's a brand new fence all the way around Freedom Powder up there, right there by Mancino, the blacktop. And town of Bristol's gonna have to pay for it. And all that is for is to replace the water tower for 2026. All they could do is just to build a new fence right there on the one line. But the deal was to do it all the way around in blacktop, and I already heard all about it, and I think town of Bristol is gonna have to pay for that. So I wanna hear what you guys have to say about that. Does anybody know about that?
More than I do.
We know about it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, sure, what?
Why do we have to pay for that?
Did you want to explain, Tim?
For $50,000 check all the way around the building, why do, in
Would
blacktop?
you like an answer?
I could put that fence up for 2,000, just to put the fence up to the water line, to the water tower, and it would be done for. But you guys are doing all the way around the building and blacktop, so why does the town of Bristol have to pay for that?
We just removed that from the project today.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sure.
We did.
Today?
Today.
Okay.
We found an alternative to save that
sure.
money on the project.
I'm sure, save money.
I am sure
Okay.
I'm standing right here in line.
Okay.
From the people, so.
Well, that's just ridiculous. That's what I was just thinking of. Why do we have to pay for all that for a commercial building when
Why-
none of these
why do you
people
think that'd
use
be
this
different?
commercial building? None of us use that commercial property or that building. And we have to pay for that. And that just goes for everything in this town.
So I will make a statement that, and this kind of brings up another,
Cause I work there, we get no business.
this brings up another sore subject of the fire territory. We had people say, if you knew about this 5 years ago, why didn't you do something about the fire territory? Why didn't you do something to try and fund the fire territory? Why did you wait until now to bring a fire territory? So,
It's
for the water,
for fire trucks to put that one house out, the
For-
2 houses out.
for the water and sewer project, we know that there are issues. We are addressing it now so that in 5 years from now, the residents don't have sewer backups and lack of water in their properties. So we are, yes, is it costing a lot of money?
But how many fire trucks did it take to put out that 2 houses over there? We didn't have enough fire trucks around here, did we? We
No,
had to call out more surrounding towns to put out them 2 houses.
we had 4 fire departments fighting that fire.
Every town around here does the same
Thank
thing.
It's called mutual aid. And when Middlebury needs help, Bristol goes. When Elkhart,
Yeah, I know.
we go.
I know.
So,
Was there?
no, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Betty Arnold. I live at 300 Maple Street in Bristol. Lived here my entire life. I'm 75. I'm on a limited income, which is Medicare, Social Security. And we just get sewer. My sewer bill more than doubled. If I had to live solely, if I hadn't saved anything and had to live solely on my social security, I get about, after everything's taken out, about $850. And my water bill was over $100 for sewer only. I don't get water, I get just a sewer. Can I get permission to put in a septic? You know, I mean, my income's not going to go up significantly from social security. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It would cost you $15,000 to $18,000 to put in sewer, so. take
A
your-
septic system.
Septic system, sorry. Yeah, but it's not permitted.
I think I need an abatement. I'm 70, I don't know how long I'm going to be around, I may have like 6 or 7 years abatement.
So I would say, Jill, let's look at that one too. We got that.
Yeah,
Mine never
wait,
went up that.
something sounds wrong with that. Yeah.
Well, our school is.
It's got all of them. I mean, and then you have to do 2 more rate hikes.
That, I forgot about that. The 2 more rate hikes on top of that, I can only imagine what it would be. Nobody's gonna come to Lumber, so that.
Nope, gone.
So I would say anybody that wants to bring their bill up to Jill, is that acceptable, Jill?
Absolutely.
I'll be the first one.
Come on in.
Mine went
Yeah.
to 245. I mean, I think I would be looking at it
tripled,
to start, because it's more than
All
just people that were chattering online about it. That's why ABC 57's here, because there was a lot of chatter about it. So I would suggest that we just start digging and trying to see if there's a problem, especially when we're wanting to do 2 more increases on top of where we're at.
And is that gonna remain our new bill every month?
Yep.
There's no way.
Depending on your, depending on.
And
your
then 2 more
usage.
hikes.
Yeah.
There's 2 more hikes,
Get
and
the
then
whole
there's
bill.
another one next year, and another one a year after that. But nobody told us about it. Nobody told us about it. Why isn't there a schedule passed out mailed to everybody? You have our billing address. Why can't you mail us the increases and when they're coming out and what we should expect? None of that was done. It's completely disrespectful for every resident in Bristol. I called 2 days ago and promised to phone call back and had yet to receive.
My weekend.
Speechless.
Okay, my name's Scott Lively. I live at 101 East Elkhurst Street. One thing that you guys don't remember is the residents of Bristol vote for you guys.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
These businesses around here, they're owned by people that could be here, or they could be in Elkhart County, they could be somewhere else. They're not voting for you. I think y'all dropped the ball by just all of a sudden, boom, we just got hit with a water bill. There should have been some kind of a notice. So you just remember that. Next time it comes for reelection, you like sitting in your seats? You don't care about it. Now, because you know,
I would disagree that we don't care about it.
do you?
I
Well, then-
strongly disagree.
Then what we need to do right now is put this stuff back on the back burner and let's see what happens. Let's reduce them back to the regular rates until people get noticed, because you got a lot of people here that are votes.
So let me address the notification. We did, it was published on our website. Can I speak? So we published it on our website, the dates of the public hearings. We also published it in the newspaper a couple times.
Nobody gets a newspaper anymore.
Well,
You can't even find
so-
one. I searched for a newspaper.
So
I was told it was supposed to be on the bill and they said, oh, that was our mistake, it didn't get put on the bill.
That is
So
true.
they said.
Okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
Well, but we advertised for the public hearings, but we wanted to put it something on with that current increase bill.
You have our mailing address, send us something in the mail.
Attach it to the water bill or something,
Absolutely.
you know? We all have to get the water bill. We all pay the water bill. You know, do we have to be like now, like our federal government? We have to come down here, we elect you guys to do good for us. I hear you're giving tax rebates to these companies, that's all good. But at the expense of residents, are they gonna vote for you? If we all leave, where are you gonna get your money? Instead of rezoning these to industries, why don't we rezone them, bring more people in?
So I've addressed, I'll address that again. We have talked to no less than a dozen contractors about building residential properties in Bristol. We've been stonewalled ever since everybody we've talked to. They don't want to come to Bristol and build houses. We've talked with contractor after contractor about on the south side of town, building just south of the horse farm. There was property for sale. We wanted to put residential properties in there. We talked to 6 different contractors and nobody wanted to come to town. So it's not from lack of trying.
The gentleman said that you guys are gonna put a fence around the water thing or whatever, I don't know what you guys, whatever,
Yeah,
okay? He said he can do it for cheaper. You guys shop around and see who can do the job cheap, you know,
yeah.
but do the same thing.
We have, it's,
Listen, I used to work for the city of Elkhart on the street department. And we had to have radios. They've always done business with this one radio company, ERS Radio, I think off of County Road 3. They was jacking the prices up. The street commissioner says, hey, let's shop around. For one radio, shopping around, he was able to buy 2 radios plus a couple batteries.
so.
Now, I understand you guys get money from the state and you have to spend that money in order to get that money back, you know, to get it back from this thing. But let's shop around. Let's stop doing some of these things. Let's take care of the residents here in this town because we are your guys' vote.
So every project that we bid, sir, has to be publicly bid. And we don't select vendors based on who they are. We base the quotes for the water project were bid and we selected the lowest bid.
Well, you probably gonna have to make another bid, to make this building bigger, because we're gonna go word of mouth. And we're gonna have the residents come down here and see how our money's being spent, because obviously it's not being spent wisely.
Anybody
What's
else?
the bridge for? What's the bridge for, actually? Why?
Well, at this point, it's not even a project. We've considered a pedestrian bridge that would parallel the current Division Street Bridge. That would be for pedestrians only to go from the sidewalk in town over to Congdon Park. Okay? That bridge will only happen if it is funded by a grant. If it's funded by a grant, it won't take one single taxpayer dollar to do. So,
You can get a grant for a bridge, but not for a water tower?
correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can do that.
Well, actually, we can't get,
Oh, we didn't get the grant for that.
we didn't get the grant for the bridge, so no, we didn't get the grant. But
Good.
if we can apply for it and we can get a grant to do that, we will.
But why do you think you need a walk bridge from town to Condon Park?
If
Because
you,
the homecoming?
that's part of it. Part of it's homecoming, but
a walkway there,
Well,
It's any event.
it's any event. It's,
and it's been there for years.
what has increased in the walkway? I mean, it's like, the homecoming's 3 days?
No, it's not just for.
It's not just
For every event.
When you shut down Main Street, and when you have the carnival up here.
Yeah, we have.
and DOT won't let us, NDOT won't let us do that.
We have.
NDOT will not let us shut down State Road 15 or 120.
Oh,
So
so you
that's-
can't have the car or the thing anymore?
No,
The
because,
parade.
because
Right anymore?
Yes.
we can have the parade, but we can't close down State Road 15 or 120 because NDOT will not allow it.
We can have the parade because it's a short term, an
It's-
hour or two.
Yeah.
length.
It's shut
It's
down for
not
3 hours.
3 days.
So
It's
we
not 3 days.
we can't shut down a state highway for 3 days. They
Yeah.
won't allow it. We'd like to. We'd love to have it there again.
And then what about, I have one other question. Okay, so we're saying that we're gonna build a new water plant. It's not gonna really be the purpose of, it's not gonna be any bigger at this point, but it could if it gets bigger, long story short. But you know, it's like kind of car, something goes wrong, you fix it. Why not just fix what's broken there and just keep it for now? Then if this was not gonna serve any more purpose unless at some point, until that point comes.
Do you want sewer back up in your house? And the sewer system will shut down?
Somebody.
So,
Tim might be able to talk about.
Yeah,
when the wastewater treatment plant needs to be redone.
yeah, we can't just continue to repair. At some point, your analogy of the car. At some point, your 1979 Gremlin, it's not repairable and you can't get parts for it. And it's time to buy a new car. And we're at the point where it's time to buy a new water plant, a new wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah, if you keep repairing it for 10 years, when you go to buy a new one, the cost is gonna be triple.
That's
And I don't think it's this board, I'm not saying good, bad, or different, but it's not mainly this board. It was the board before, the town manager before, the town attorney before, that dropped the ball on the sewer plant. The sewer plant should have been updated before the factories came in. That's like this bypass. That should have been taken care of, that entrance and exit should have been taken care of before it was started. So it's not this town board, but the previous town board and town manager and town attorney that dropped the ball on the problem these guys have got now. And that's the God's honest truth.
I mean, to be honest, we wouldn't even have this argument if you gave us a notice. I mean, to be honest.
Well, but
We need a budget in our month.
We need a budget. We're living month to month around here and you just expect us to drop $300+ extra dollars on that.
So about one punch you.
Water shut off.
I mean, month to month. I bet you none of you guys live month to month on bill to bill to bill to bill. $100 to $100 from bill to bill and you're worried about the next bill? No. That's us. That's us. All around us. It's hard. Then you drop another $300, $400 bill. You laugh all you want. It's
I'm
hard.
not laughing. I said,
It's
you're not
hard.
the only one. I live on social security,
Yeah,
so don't
so
tell me how that goes.
We all know. It's hard.
Okay, okay.
Let's get out of here. This place is a joke. Let's go, Mom.
Wow. My name is Maxine Walker. I live at 105 County Road 104. I come to the town board meetings every once in a while.
Yep.
Just to kind of keep in tune to what's going on in town. So I knew all about the new wastewater plant treatment plant, et cetera. The first Thursday and the third Thursday of every month in this room. Show up. You'll know what's going on. People don't know what's going on in this town because they don't avail themselves of the town board meetings.
Until there's a problem.
Until there's a problem.
And then,
They're open to the public, first Thursday, third Thursday of every month. Simple as that.
So we have to show up to a meeting and find out what our water bill's gonna be?
You need to show up to the meeting to find out what's going on in town.
100%, that's why,
Yeah, I want to know what's going on in town. And I don't like just hearsay from this one and that one and this one
100%.
and Facebook baloney, you know.
100%.
So come to the town. to do with not knowing it's coming, it's to do with paying for it. And I can't do anything about that. And they have no suggestions. Do you? How am I gonna pay for that?
She
How am I
gave
going
me
to
a
increase my income?
She told you suggestions. Go see your township trustee.
Township trustee
Every
and
month, I'm gonna go to that township trustee,
No.
they give money for my.
No, you
Well,
go,
what am I gonna do, Sandy? Because
go
it's.
go to him once and talk to him, and he will give you a suggestion, and he will try to give you all the money. Every month, until your
Okay, folks,
social
just-
goes up.
let's, Maxine, I need to call an order, please. So Maxine has the floor.
Maybe somebody will hire.
These people have made really good points tonight, and I wasn't even gonna stand up there and say anything.
Yeah.
But I have never attended a town board meeting where there's been this many people. And it's amazing, and I just wish that more people would attend these meetings and get involved with the town of Bristol. I don't know whether it would have fixed your bill or not, but at least you know what was going on. Okay?
Yeah.
But I do have another question.
Yes.
What is the time frame of cleaning up the burnt houses? Do you know?
So Alex, do you want to address that?
I can speak to that. As you may know, that parcel is subject to an eminent domain action pending before the Guard Circuit Court.
I thought it had already been approved. No, that was still pending?
So the taking has been approved.
Okay.
Yes, and the stage that the case is in now, appraisers have been ordered by the court and their reports are due next Monday, the 10th. From that point, once those reports are submitted to the court.
Yep.
There's a statutory procedure for the town to take possession to address the remediation.
Okay.
That's certainly there's some other variables involved there, but that is
Okay.
the concern.
I just wondered how long we were gonna have to look at that, that's all.
So-
That's purple.
So let me,
That was a question that we had a few months ago.
And
I'm
thank you,
really
Alex.
gonna take care of that. And I came down here and asked the town board and got my question answered, so. Really, and I'm not being short with any of you or in any way that's sarcastic. But really, if you were to throw yourself in these meetings, I think that maybe everyone would see everyone else's point of view.
Can I ask a question along with the question that she asked? The house in the corner that we do own. Is that going to be like two separate cleanups?
No.
One
we
cleanup?
hope to-
What?
We almost need the other property to attack the first one, so that'll be one project.
Because of the access to the corner and the light and all of that mess that it's gonna be.
Yeah, it'll be one cleanup project. We'll have that quote ready to go probably towards the end of next week. And I have at least 6 contractors that want to quote on it. So
Depending on the litigation.
That's correct.
yeah. But I think that'll be right. There is a slim chance that that'll be cleaned up by homecoming. Slim chance. Yeah, but you know, this connects to a theme that's been here tonight, and I want to pick up on what you started to say, Greg, about the importance of business to this community. It's not the taxpayer, it's not the property taxpayers, these folks here that are paying for the cleanup. They're not paying for the pedestrian bridge. The majority of the water treatment, the new water tower that we need, the new wastewater treatment plant, all of those costs, instead of being shared by just 700 residents, the predominant payer of that bill is the manufacturing industry around this area. They're footing the bill for all this new infrastructure that needed to happen, regardless of whether the industry is there or not. If we did not have a TIF district, there'd be no money for this town to clean up that site, none. And you'd be sitting with that site looking like that, just like Middlebury said on that site, for years maybe, because you didn't have the money. It's the manufacturing industries that are paying for that cleanup. It's the industries that would be paying the cost share for a grant for a new pedestrian bridge. With the new pedestrian bridge and those sites cleaned up, we begin to anchor this with a new look downtown. And we begin to look like a town that people want to move to. So we do have some residential growth potential in the downtown area. You've got to look like a town that people want to move to. And we're beginning to get that done. And we have on some plans right now, some folks with some foresight that want to invest in Bristol and create some really nice downtown residential areas. You cannot sell farmland for residential because it's worth too much money. It's $50,000 to $60,000 an acre, and you can't tell those landowners they can't sell it for that because that becomes a taking for the town. Then you end up paying it. You can't tell landowners you cannot sell for that use. We can control some of the use. But the industry in this town is providing all kinds of opportunities. And I know it feels like your bills are high now because they are much higher. But that industry is one of the reasons you've had one of the lowest water bills for since the 90s.
Yeah.
State of Indiana, you've had one of the lowest property tax rates in the county. That's because all that growth of that industry. So there's a lot of benefits to living here. And I know it feels bad right now. This is a town that's ripe with some new opportunities, I think.
But our bill tripled. Our bill tripled and it's still going up, right?
It'll go up. The next increase is much smaller. And if we get enough growth.
But it's still increasing for.
And it'll put you right about the state average.
Where does it
Still
stop?
lower than
Actually, it's gonna be above state. How do we budget for them if we don't know what's coming?
I mean, what if I can pay a $300 water bill? $400 water bill? Where does it stop?
Projections.
I mean, let's be honest.
Would be great.
And nobody's gonna wanna come paying a high water bill, high electric tax.
Yeah, how are you gonna bring more
Residential.
Your water bill is still less than Middlebury, still less than Topeka, still less than what?
And
Your water bill-
I think so, so I got this.
Yeah, hey, so I'll remember this come election day, and you don't get your vote. And you don't get to sit in that seat there, Jim. You remember that?
Okay.
That you wanted to stiff us on this water bill and stuff instead of giving us snow.
I'm gonna disagree that we wanted to stick.
Listen, but think,
This
but
is not about
there
stiffing
was
you guys.
there was action that you could have took attached to the water bill. Not everybody has internet,
Nobody gets paper.
okay? Nobody gets the paper because the paper, everybody's gone electronic. Y'all went around door to door, drumming up votes and stuff. Why didn't you go door to door and say, hey, your water bill is gonna go up in about 3 months?
Well, to Maxine's point, these meetings happen every month, twice a month.
So then I gotta come to this meeting, I gotta go to the county council meeting, I gotta go to the meeting down at the state, then I have to go to my federal government because they're screwing us. So
And I have no
why do
control
we
over
need to
that one.
elect you guys then?
It's just smart to know what's going on in your own town, and you don't have to, I come to a meeting maybe once every 8 weeks, just to kind of keep in tune to what's going on in town. Nobody comes. I mean, maybe 3 or 4 people are here whenever I come.
And I mean, I work a varying schedule. I have a son with a trach and a ventilator, so it requires nursing or my mother to take care of him for me to leave. And I have 2 other children, so when you work full time, juggling 3 kids and a child on a ventilator, I guess it gets a little bit difficult.
And I respect that, I'm just.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stop for just a second. Mr. Otto is at the microphone, so I'm gonna let him speak.
I guess I'm the odd man out tonight, because I'm not talking about the water bill, because I have my own well and my own septic system, so I'm.
We'll tap into it.
My wife and I have been living here for 18 years. And one of the things that we have noticed since we've lived here is all the roads to nowhere. The roads are all, I mean, Maple Street is now 2 roads. Oh, you can't go there anymore. You can't, the railroad crossing's been closed. When I was driving, I'm retired now, but when I was driving semi, Commerce Avenue out here, I drove for Old Dominion Freight Lines, and I had the Bristol, Middlebury, Shipshewana route. And so my first stops were always in Bristol. I picked up my semi in South Bend. My first stops were in Bristol. My next stop was Middlebury. So we go out the backside of Commerce Drive, take County Road 29. Oh, shoot, they took that railroad out of there. We can't go that way. So now we got to go down on 4, County Road 4 to go around. Why did we close that most important railroad crossing and not close one that's not being used?
So that is all directed by the railroad. We have no control over that. The railroad.
Why don't you have control? It's you guys in the council.
No, we have no control over the railroad. They are their own entity, and you want to talk about government controlling? You talk about the railroad. They have complete control over that railroad, and they tell the state of Indiana what roads can be crossings and which roads have to be closed. We have no control over that whatsoever.
But you could put a fight up about it.
No, we couldn't.
You know, there's no reason that 133 couldn't have been used, or what is it, 133, the next county road out?
131.
130, I'm sorry. Couldn't have been closed, because that was an absolute critical route to get from Bristol to Middlebury.
Again, the railroad mandates which crossings will be closed and which ones will remain open. We have no say over that whatsoever. NDOT has no say over that. Elkhart County has no say over that. That is strictly 100% the railroad.
That's why when they block all those crossings on US 33 and Goshen couldn't do anything about it.
No.
The judge just sat there, they couldn't do anything about it. It doesn't
Yeah,
sound right, but-
Mr. Otto, I would love to say that Chief Cantz and Chief Haynes would love nothing more than Maple Street to be open. Lieutenant Dunn Lundgren would love nothing more than Maple Street to be open, to be able to get to the businesses and the residents much quicker.
So who do we go to get that changed?
Talk to your state legislature. I don't know.
Maybe your state senator, or
State
senator.
US senators. We have
nothing we can do.
we have no control over that at all.
My son-in-law lives on 120 here in town. And he works at Robert Weed. Now, instead of 2 minutes to get to work, he has to drive all the way down 15, all the way across. or he has to go out
And that's
one twenty and all the way, that way.
And that's because of Grand Elk Railroad.
Yep, it's not, we can't.
That has
do anything
nothing to
about
do
it.
with the town of Bristol, Elkhart County, or NDOT.
They tell us what they're going to do.
Okay, I'm gonna shift gears just a second, just a little bit here. Out there where I live on County Road 23, there is a rumor that with all this manufacturing that's going in, that's supposed to be going in out there, that they're gonna put a new road from 15. Well, there was a rumor that they were gonna take County Road 23 and make that a truck route to go to the factories from 15. And then the rumor was that it was gonna go behind my house. So what's happening? Where's the road gonna go?
That's county.
No,
Isn't it?
he's
I'm
talking
not
about,
sure which road.
oh, it's, yeah, 23 right out by his house.
Yeah.
So what you're hearing is some proposals. Some of it came from, as a result of the plan commission meeting that I think you were at, and yes. So at this point, we're waiting to see who actually purchases the property out there. Most likely, this is probably 80% chance. What's going to happen is County Road 10 will be extended straight west and then head north. So it'll be north of your property. That will be the main thoroughfare through that area.
Just south of Valmont.
And yes, just south of Valmont. Then that'll allow us to talk to the residents. We're actually thinking about talking to the residents out on 23. And if you're concerned about through traffic, there may be some things we can do out there to stop that through traffic.
Well, I'm concerned right now with all the electronic NIPSCO work on 15. All the factories are going out 23 the back way. This is no longer County Road 23. This is Bristol Speedway. Cars going through there at 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, and then slamming on the brakes to make the 90-degree turn, and then getting up to 60, 70 miles an hour to make the next 90-degree turn. And, we have people out there with kids. There are kids, the kids know to stay away from the street.
And no one's happy with the way that road's been used. It's been misused. So all I can say is, well, NIPSCO's apparently about done with their project, so that should help, yes. Eventually, the development out there, the new businesses will be paying for that new road. We're not allowing, at this point, we're not going to allow any exits onto 23. Everything has to go north to the new road. So all the new business out there has to be directed to the new road. And then it goes to State Road 15 or up to 120.
Okay.
Stonebond.
All right, on State Road 15, because I don't know exact measurements, approximately a quarter of a mile north of the power plant. When they made a road entrance.
Concrete approach.
Yes, is that where you're talking about?
No.
Well, what's that supposed to be used for?
I know the owner there put that in.
The owner of that property owns the property further north where the driveway lot is.
Okay. That's
his original plans were to put an entrance there where you see it, the concrete approach. And he was going to extend his property, his parking lot further south. And do gravel that through that from where it is right now, all the way down to the power plant. And he's not doing that anymore, from what we understand.
Every plan that we've looked at on paper, it all connects at the County Road 10, State Road 15 intersection. That's where everything starts. So it may go straight west, it may go west and meander south a bit before it goes back north, but everything connects there, which would be north of your place.
Okay. And the extension of the bypass, is there a bypass going further south than what Bloomingdale?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that going to go in this summer?
Well, they will start with an extension at Industrial Drive and State Road 15. I don't know if it'll be this summer or this fall, but there'll be a new extension into Abby's property that starts heading east and it will curve up and we won't get all the way to Bloomingdale on this phase, but eventually that'll get to Bloomingdale. So that becomes part of that business route. Then the next phase will take that south to County Road 10. So you'll go from Bloomingdale and get to County Road 10 through Abby's land. Everything focuses on County Road 10.
Somebody said something about a roundabout.
Well, there's one on paper, but nobody said yes. That's NDOT's decision.
Better than no light,
100%.
roundabouts work.
Yeah.
Well, Bloomingdale and 15 needs a light.
We're hoping we convince.
We tried.
Oh,
We tried.
we've begged and borrowed and pleaded with.
NDOT said no.
And
15.
and they said no.
NDOT said we didn't have enough traffic.
Lieutenant Lundgren can attest to that, that we've tried everything we could to get a light there.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, I. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add something to the water customers real fast?
Yes.
So two things, I get life's busy and it's hard when you get home to come back out for a meeting. But our meetings are all on YouTube, live streamed, can't really interact with it. But you at least can hear, you can be doing something in the background and hear what's going on in these meetings. And the other thing is, I know all of Riverwatch, has had the new meters installed. Everybody received a letter where they can actually view their consumption daily. They can get alerts if the consumption indicates a leak. It's gonna resolve the water rates, but it's gonna help avoid large increases because of leaks. So everyone did receive that in the Riverwatch subdivision. Did we mail those letters?
Ours, like everybody else,
I wanna talk to you guys before you leave.
because ours tripled and probably everybody else has tripled. Were they supposed to triple or were
No.
they supposed to?
No.
No.
No,
What
they
were
weren't.
they supposed to do? And then on top of that, sorry that I'm not up there, but, on top of that, what are the next phase of hits?
They're gonna actually just wait.
Can you step up to the podium,
Thank you.
please? Sorry.
I'm Dwight Barnes. Some of you may have known my dad, Al Barnes.
Oh. Yeah.
No.
He did my work. He did my work.
I live, my wife and I moved back to Bristol, about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. 9732 Old Port Cove. We came back to Bristol because really, I didn't want to move back here, but anyway, we actually love Bristol and, but when you look at the water bill, and like I said, when it goes from X to, and it triples, and then you're talking about another hit, and then another hit. Well, where does it stop, right? When's enough enough? Okay. Everybody, everybody's getting hit with bills on top of bills, interest rates, all this other stuff, right? So if you want to keep bringing people to Bristol, we really need to be careful about that because, like I said, for me, I don't want to pay a $300 water bill. I think that's utterly ridiculous, personally. And on top of that, I understand why businesses are coming to Bristol because farmers can sell that for a mint compared to residential. That's why that's happening. That is what it is. But, and I don't mind a small town, but we need to be careful of the residents here and have their best interest at heart. And like I said, the reason we're down here, we all have busy schedules, right? And so for my wife and I, you look at it and all of a sudden you got hit with it. And then you look at it and you hear another hit coming and then another hit coming. It's like, we gotta stop, either that or we're gonna be looking for another place to live. And we do like Bristol, it's a great community. It's pretty friendly. I think there could be that eyesore that unfortunately that burned down, which breaks my heart because I grew up here, and that is a historical site that, unfortunately was a mockery, you know? And, but putting a bridge across there, to me, isn't the right idea. Why don't you beautify it? Why don't you put grass and stuff there? Why don't you make a little sitting area or a park or something, a little mini something there,
That's proposed.
you know? Not,
That's actually part of the proposal.
you already have a bridge,
That's part of the proposal.
you know?
Yes, have a small.
And I remember as a kid, when we came downtown and it was fun as all get out, when the carnival and you're downtown and you're being brats or whatever, and, you know, that was a great time. Diamond Park, to me, is taking a little bit away from that, honestly, you know, but I understand the fact that they can't have it downtown. You know, also, so that's my first thing, and the second thing is 7 years ago, my dad passed away or whatever it was, and before that, he knew about that extension going in, and he was telling my wife and I, that'll never work. That's a botch job. It'll never work. I'm not saying any of you were here at that point in time, okay? However, he was absolutely right. There's so much traffic going through Bristol, which if they're stopping and eating and spending money, that's one thing. But if they're just going through town, that isn't working, you know, because I drive to Middlebury and I in for work now, and I see hardly anybody taking that extension compared to going downtown. And in 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 to 4, you can't get through downtown. You know, we've outgrown the town. You know, the industry has outgrown the town with the logistics of the road patterns, but that doesn't work at all. And I don't know what we can do to fix that, but that is, maybe we need bigger signs. Maybe you ought to put a something down the middle of the road like they have it going into downtown Elkhart, so bigger, so hard traffic can't get through downtown, right?
To address that, so to address that point, there is a planned project for the Main Street here to be redone by NDOT, and that'll be next year, Mike?
Starts next spring.
It starts next spring. And in preparation for that, we want to have some additional roads onto to the bypass, that traffic will be automatically diverted to that. And we want to narrow the streets here so that it does exactly what you just said. So that it forces traffic down that road.
Like downtown, and I think it would be kind of cool, actually, if you had, like they do in Elkhart, as you go into Elkhart, where you know, the narrow the streets, and they have those medians and stuff that, you know, you can put trees and.
Yeah, I don't know that we want to go that narrow, because if you drive through there, look at the curves.
Yeah.
All the black marks on the curves.
So I get it.
But I do want to tell you something, when you said something about signs. We approached NDOT. NDOT said, we're not putting signs up for you.
We can't put them on the state.
Yeah, we can't.
We cannot, we said, can we just put, you know, coming down 15, alternate route
NDOT.
with a light? No light.
That's a total failure.
They said, well, we're not done yet.
I'm gonna ask Lieutenant Lundgren in front of my spot, Justin. You probably patrol that road quite a bit. Would you say there's a lot of traffic on that road?
Like to see more on the road compared to downtown.
Yeah.
It's because of NDOT logistically going south on that road and trying to get out. It's nearly
It's a nightmare,
impossible
I'm
to get
sure.
up. And I've, at many scenes that I've been at with NDOT, I've asked them, what about a light? What about a light? And then they always say, well, it's not me, it's whoever.
Yeah.
And they're in control. I would love a traffic light because I think more people would use it.
Yeah.
Going south, I see more northbound traffic than I do southbound, because everybody gets that, I go down there, I can't make a left turn.
Yeah.
When they come north, a lot of the trucks do the same thing. The trucks are always coming north on that road. They don't want to go south because they can't get out. in the
Yeah.
trucks.
Yeah.
So they come back downtown.
And NDOT said we didn't have enough traffic to allow a street light.
Yeah.
Well, you don't, because everybody comes down through.
Well, I mean,
They did. So their traffic study was here on 15 and 120, and they still said you don't have enough traffic.
Can't you put a sign on
Maybe
the
they
gas
should come here
station that
at 2
says
o'clock in the afternoon.
truck route
No.
only?
no,
No,
When I was
because
in
NDOT will not
that
allow it.
year back in
you
the
can't
80s,
direct,
90s,
you can't direct somebody,
we
we
didn't have a
can't
stoplight
direct
down here.
a,
No, I
We
know.
had
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I know.
We had a-
we can't direct the use of a state highway.
You know what they told me?
Only in
How
Dot
big
can
is
do
the
that.
body count?
Yeah,
I said,
we
"What?"
tried.
Do
Now,
you
none
have
of the
that on the
towns
website or anything
been
for
finding
the
it.
government? That we can all get on it and say, hey,
Brenda.
Brenda?
Yeah.
Anybody can go on INDOT.
Yeah, just Google it.
Yeah, but do you have a specific person to talk to?
Oh.
I mean, we'll blow this over there.
Please do.
Put it on.
I don't know who it would be.
I mean, you could almost take, remember Scanlahorn Hardware, that's now the
Building.
building down there on the corner?
Yeah.
You could
Open
take,
Door
I
Center.
mean,
yeah.
maybe you could take that, and if you wanna get more people in here and turn it into actually a nice condo community or something of that nature, a nicer one, not a.
The church.
Church owns it
That
now.
belongs to
I mean, that's,
the
if you're
community.
talking about ways of bringing people in and actually beautifying the community, make it nice looking and, you know, in the summertime, it is nice looking when you have, hanging baskets and stuff like that and 4th of July and the flags and stuff like that. That's a great,
It needs
it's a
to
great
It
community,
needs to
but
be a place where people wanna stop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Go through.
yeah, not just go through.
How many folks in this room have driven through Cassopolis, Michigan? Anybody go through there? What do you think of that little town? Recently, very appealing.
It used to be a dump. It was just like Bristol, and it's more like Millbury.
Okay. Okay, so,
Don't put that on the news, Annie.
so, just to kind of give you a glimpse, this town council visited Cassopolis, Michigan about a month and a half ago, and we toured their town. We talked to their town manager, we talked to their planning development team, and we learned a lot about what they did in their town. A lot of what they did is what we want to incorporate into this town.
I mean, some of these buildings down here have been here forever and a day, and they,
Yeah.
you know, they need a little bit of updating to them, you know?
Yeah.
And if you wanna bring people in, actual people in, and not businesses, but people, you do have to clean up the town. The buildings, old
Yeah.
buildings are old, they look old.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to bring life to them.
Nice restaurant would be nice, like the River Inn used to be.
And unfortunately, River Inn
That was
was
a
a great place.
It was.
Look out, you could see the river and it had good ambiance to it, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I don't think it did great.
And I know at least two of us
Did good.
were on the council when the River Inn was for sale.
Mm.
I personally talked to 6 restaurant owners about coming to Bristol. I talked with Hunter's Hideaway in Napanee, the owner there. His dad lives in, your neighborhood, Bay Ridge. I talked with Hacienda. I talked with the owner of, well, it's Cam Snyder, Chubby Trout and all those. I talked with Between the Buns, and nobody wanted to go. I said, we've got a perfect building for you. It's already set up as a restaurant. You've got a great clientele from the river, but again, we couldn't get anybody to come in.
Maybe
No.
it's about marketing, maybe we gotta market Bristol. then,
Now,
you know?
hindsight tells me we probably should have bought that building by the town should have bought that building and tried to find a suitable restaurant. to come in.
Yeah.
But to your point about the previous council and our legal council, not throwing anybody on the bus, but I was told, we're not in the business of buying properties. Well, I wish I would have bought that because that would have been a great property for us to own.
I mean, and one other thing is, like what they did over in by Notre Dame, Edison.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever. I mean,
Benny Street Commons.
yeah, where you've got businesses below and then you got residential stuff up top, and again, it's about making it look good and giving that feeling that you're just not an older community, that you're just a drive-through community, if you wanna stay here, you have to make people want to be here.
So we can't change things overnight.
Right.
And as Mike said, we are using the TIF monies to do some of these things. I think we have grand visions for what this property is gonna look like once the old store and the house on the corner are gone. I think you'll be impressed with what we have in mind. And it is something that along those lines. But it can't happen overnight. And that's where this TIF funding comes in and allows us to do those things.
Yeah.
So,
but the walkway is on hold. It's,
Walkway is on hold.
It's a wish issue, only a wish list at
Yeah.
this point.
well, but you need to say that because people are going, what do we need? I mean, the town people, what do we need? Another bridge? What's?
We've talked about it at multiple meetings here.
82 years, we had no problem crossing that bridge even with the mayflies.
We've been talking,
Cindy, we brought that up multiple
years.
meetings.
And they were there in June.
Yeah.
I do wanna talk a little bit about the water rates, and Jill, you probably know better than anybody. And for longtime residents, until this bill you got, when was the last time anybody saw an increase in their water rate or sewer rates? How long has it been?
I think I can address it, Jeff. I been here 20 years and I save all the stubs from water bills. I went back and I sorted them all out by year. And my water bill in 2003 for the total year was 655. Last year, 655. No increase, 20 years.
So I get it,
Right?
Yeah, but see that.
So that's where let's talk to Jill, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk to Jill because that's not the way it was supposed to be. So there's something wrong with the meter or there was an error in the billing, whatever it was. So I didn't even know Doug had it, so thank you.
Have the same thing.
It would like a double for us, that's, and stay that way is okay.
Yeah.
You know, but not.
It was supposed to be. So the new rate structures, the more water you use, the greater the increase would be. So we have industries whose bills went up measured by thousands of dollars. Residential use is the lowest rate. We took kind of an average, tried to put a pin somewhere. It was supposed to go up 70%. That's what we kind of guesstimated. So when we see increases that are considerably higher than that, then we need to figure out what.
Yeah, there's
what's
red
going
I
on.
need to call them.
Yeah, because we're pumping water out
After all the increases.
So that is on average.
That's this first one.
Yeah.
The next one is more like a 10 to 12%. The third one, we don't even have an estimate on. It's actually, I'm hoping we don't use it.
Is it
Is there
just
anything
water?
we
or
can get in the schedule so we understand when it's coming, what it's going to be, this is what you've been.
It's in the rate ordinance, but yeah, you could definitely get it, and that's on our website.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Is that just sewer and water? Or water?
Sewer and
just
water, and that's for an average of a 5/8 meter at a 4,000 gallon. That's an average.
Typical.
So with our financial analysis that we did, the comprehensive plan, that's what they gave us for an average.
I mean, 2,000.
No, an average of a 5/8 user
Oh, you mean,
is about a 74% increase. So with that being said, obviously, the more water you use, that increase is going to.
that's fast.
That's why before you leave, I want to connect with you as well, please.
Well, the last thing I want to say is, again, growing up in Bristol, the fireworks was always special to us, and that's one thing that we need to keep in mind all the time, because the fireworks brings people from all over to see. I feel one of the best fireworks shows, especially for a small town.
Yeah.
It's always been that way. It always needs to stay that way. So whatever budgeting needs to be for that, it needs to be for that. Because you're also bringing in so many other people that are spending money to, you know, for everything else that, even at the gas station buying pop or whatever for that night, and down at the carnival, the fireworks people come to see, you know.
Yeah.
And that's has always been special to me, and it always needs to stay that way too.
I want to let you know, Charlie Feldman and his family that shoot that fireworks off has been doing it for the last 42 years, free of charge. It's only for the fireworks, and
And I remember when they had.
Charlie just turned 80 and he'll be doing it this year.
You know,
With his son and
that's kind of
grandson.
fun that we always had, I mean, for a couple of years, there was a fund for the fireworks.
We used
you
to
know?
go around with a boot, a fireworks boot.
Well, you know what? If you go to the I'm on the homecoming committee, sorry. If you go to the homecoming, we have an information trailer there, and if you say, here's some money toward the fireworks, just give it to us, because we do spend a lot
And honestly, there's.
of our budget.
there's a
We
lot
have a
of
very
wealthy
small
people in
budget.
Bristol or around Bristol.
Yeah.
that-
Right.
That would also help donate to that, I'm sure.
Well, in the old days, the fireworks was in Condon Park.
Yeah.
And we
We have
firemen
that over
stood
here.
here, we stood here on a Powell Street with the boots and collected money while everybody went down to
We
set
did
and
that
watch
in
it.
the bridge too.
We always.
But you know where that was switched? You know where the parks,
Switched around town,
Was
so
it
we could
closed
dump
free?
it into.
the parks were switched because. it
Okay.
was-
Yeah.
Lots of good conversation. I know it,
Yeah.
I know it got heated at times and I welcome this type of conversation. I really do. I like you to challenge us, Scott. I really do. That's what we're here for. We need to hear from the residents on what you need and what your concerns are and how it impacts you. And let us figure out ways to help you. Jill had great ideas. Talk to the township trustee, talk to the hub. If you need assistance, there is assistance out there. We didn't take this venture on lightly. We didn't want to do this to the rates. But the state revolving loan fund that we get our money from required us to do the rates that we did. And unfortunately, the cost to improve the water treatment plant, the wastewater treatment plant and the water system, things are going up. Everybody's getting hit with it, right? I mean, go to McDonald's for a family of 4. You're not getting out for less than $50. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you go to McDonald's with a family of 4 and you can feed them for $18. Not anymore. So everything is going up. We don't want it to go up, but we also, it's our responsibility to make sure that the infrastructure in this town functions properly. Now, I won't pick on your dad, Al, but he was a excavator, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure with his equipment, he didn't just buy an excavator and never maintain it.
Right.
He maintained it every year. He put money into it. And at some point he had to replace it. And I'm sure when he bought his first excavator for $20,000 and 15 years later, he bought the next one for $60,000, he probably fell in his chair. Just like we did. I mean, I don't know what the original wastewater treatment plant cost us, but I'm sure it wasn't $24 million.
Well, we
So-
inherited a lack of, not maintenance, but lack of upgrading as
Yeah.
time went on.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, here it is. So we get stuck trying to figure out how to pay for it.
Right,
And we should have been done a little bit every year.
right.
That wasn't our fault. We're trying to fix it.
We're trying to fix, yeah, to Dean's point, we're trying to fix what hasn't been fixed for years. So it is a big bill and I'm sorry for that. I wish it wasn't, but the reality is it's there. So,
The same issues, like you're saying, not just the water plant, but we're talking about sewer pipes, water pipes, all over town have had no maintenance on. And all of that has to be approached.
So how long has it been, I mean, have you guys known?
public-
6-8 months.
6-8
Oh,
months?
yeah, we've been working on it.
So
Say, long before I got on the board.
it's been in process.
So
for the
why
last 18
didn't
months.
we just, okay, gradually, like, couple, $5 here, $5 there, increase the water bill?
Because the state
Instead of
revolving
just
loan,
boom, right now.
because
It's double.
the way the code is written in the state of Indiana, it has to be done this way.
And I heard a lady up here saying that she's not gonna be able to feed her family because she's gotta pay for her water bill. Are you guys gonna go out there and shut her water off because she can't pay it?
There's something wrong with the water bill.
There's
You
something.
paid for it now, there's something wrong with the water.
And they corrected it.
To
Yeah.
answer Scott,
There was a malfunction in something, not in my water, not my meter, but with the reading of the meter. So I think that she did correct it.
to answer Scott, we have had increases that started back many years ago, but starting in 2020, 2014, we had 2% for 4 or 5 years in a row. Then we did a 6%. So we've had increases over time. This isn't the first. So we have all that information that we
Okay,
can
so then
provide.
we knew that this was gonna happen. If I knew that my car needs to be maintained, I'm taking a budget the money to put spark plugs in, and that, because that way, that I'm not gonna have an $800 bill if I have to change the motor in. Of course, I'm a mechanic, I can do it myself, but the thing of it is, I budget. A lot of these other people budget. All of a sudden, now they gotta take $100 $200 bill. I mean, I saw it on one, it was increased to $160 some dollars.
Our problem was for years and years, there was no increases, no maintenance, none of that done. And now we're paying for it by doing catch up.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And it's taken us a long time to get to this point to where we can, okay, say, all right, this is what we need. Why wasn't that maintained? We can't go back. It's done. All we can do is make up for what was not done in the past. I've been on the board since 1999, and yes, I always pushed for maintenance. Maintenance is number one. But
One woman.
we had,
By herself.
you got that right. We had, oh gosh, I don't know. I'm being careful, Alex. I'm being careful. We had a person in charge that didn't want to spend a cent. And there's not too much one person can do.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, all right,
That's
so,
all I've got to say about it.
I do wanna, we are in essence of time, it's almost 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I do wanna thank everyone for your comments. I sincerely appreciate it. Good, bad, and different. I mean, this is what we need. So I do appreciate the comments and the feedback, and it is not taken lightly, believe me, by any of us. Every one of us up here takes it to heart. With that,
It just occurred to me, well, actually, Jill reminded me that people don't have to attend the meetings if they
No,
can't
it's
attend the
online.
meeting. Our website has a beautiful link that you can go to and watch the meeting, all the meeting packets that you can watch the video, look at the meeting packet, and 15 minutes or less, you can usually catch what you need to know at any time. It's archived there.
yeah,
So you can go back and
and if you wanna see the website, it's right here. So here is
so there's.
Well, the biggest thing that irritates me is I got all these people come around when it's election time. Oh, we're gonna reduce your taxes. Oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And you either go to Washington, my taxes increase. You either go down to the state, my taxes increase. You either go down to the county, my taxes increase. Now my town is increasing. When's it gonna stop? Don't you come around promising that your tax is gonna, we're not gonna tax it if it's not gonna work out.
Since 1999, like I said, I've been on the board. I have never gone door to door to get a vote.
and neither have I. And I've never promised
I
anybody lower
guarantee you
taxes,
these have not.
because I have no control over that. I have I have as much control over raising taxes or lowering taxes as you do, Scott.
Yeah.
I have no control over.
No, I have control. It's called not voting for them. There's some people in Washington I'm not gonna vote for this time.
Okay, good.
See,
So, all right.
because when a government becomes destructive of the people, it's our duty to abolish that form of government and establish a new form of government.
Call your senator.
Okay, so,
Yeah, I think
so I am gonna close the public
Showing the
privilege of the floor. And here's, so,
Rodney.
to Mike Yoder's point, this is our town website where you can go to see all of our council meetings. So this is the town council meetings. If you click on this link, you will see all of our videos and all of our information packets for the meetings. Okay,
Just click on a video so they can see the layout. It's really pretty cool. There's the video, and to the right is the entire meeting packet.
yep, there's your meeting packet and here's your video. So this was our redevelopment commission meeting. This is the one that just aired. So you can go watch the video and hear what's going on. All right, so let's get on to the next item. Town council discuss that. Doug, anything tonight?
I would just like to say, if you haven't downloaded the Town of Bristol app on your phone, please do.
got it on my laptop at home.
Perfect.
Yep.
We send out notifications now, so. Good,
And I'm on some of these websites too, and I will be posting. Probably gonna need some more chairs.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else, Doug?
That's it.
Thank you. Dean, anything?
No, I think everything got covered tonight.
Okay, Kathy?
No.
Greg?
Nope.
And I have nothing further. Our next meeting is June 18th as our work session. We will talk about fire protection options with Baker Tilly. And then June 20th is our regular council meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Greg, second by
Second.
Dean, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all.